Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jay Sit Down podcast. I'm your host Jay, and today I'm joined by my buddy Miles here. He is one of the hosts of the Boys from Low podcast. They do a great job over there, so check them out. But he's with us today to recap Week 12 with the NFL. Also, we'll be previewing championship weekend of college football. So a lot to talk about. Miles, thanks for coming on, man.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Yeah. So speaking of, man, we had some good Thanksgiving football. I see you're repping the Packers. They got the dub for Thanksgiving. So, what do you think about this week, man? Your thoughts?
The Packers. I'm not gonna lie. I was fairly surprised by what I saw. Of course, I was happy, but I'd be lying if I told you going into it I thought we were gonna beat the Lions. I was not that I'm a fan, so I was kind of disappointed by the performance that they had. You know, like as a football fan. Of course, again, as a Packers fan, hey, I'm repping the hoodie. You know what I'm saying, but I kind of Jared Goff. I think he fumbled twice, and I'm like, for them to be truly legit contenders like they claim, you can't turn the ball over that much. So that was kind of just disappointing for me. So
yeah, I agree. You know, the Lions have surprised a lot of people this year. They did going back to last year, even
right
when they finished the season, and then.
Right.
This year they've been playing good, but not so good against the Packers on Thanksgiving. So, like you said, they got to clean some things up. It was interesting. So we'll see what happens, man.
Hey, maybe Packers can ride this out and we end the playoffs. You know what I'm
saying? Nah. But hey, look, I'll say this: like Jordan Love, I mean. You know, if they can just clean some things up, I think he's,
we're too inconsistent.
Yeah. If they can just, like I said, clean some things up and get everybody on the same page, maybe get him another playmaker out there at the receiver position to complement Watson, I think they'll be good.
Yeah.
I mean, because their defense is pretty good. It's just offensive, they don't, outside of Aaron Jones and Christian Watson.
Aaron Jones. So, and Christian White, it's like Jordan Love, week in, week out, we might get a Jordan Love that can beat the Lions, or we might get one that can lose to the Broncos. So it's like we gotta, if it's that we're not gonna be okay. So.
Yeah, pretty much. And one of the more exciting games of this past weekend was I'm sure you saw the Bills and the Eagles game, man. That was crazy.
Okay. I was watching first. And I heard Shannon Sharp say that Jalen Hurts is Tom Brady-esque, if you will. Like, he doesn't always have the best games from start to finish, but similarly to Tom Brady early in his career, like, you look at the end and he's coming out with W's somehow. He's scoring that game-winning touchdown somehow, no matter how bad the game was. And I know they were down 7.5. And it's like, you look, and he's walking in the game-winning touchdown. It's like, I thought the Bills had, but Jalen Hurts just finds a way to win, and I'm interested to see if he can get it done like in the Super Bowl this time, like come playoff time, if he can get it done.
Yeah, definitely interested to see if he can do that there. The Bills, man, like, and we talked about this before, man, me and you, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think it's time to for now to close the case on the Bills. I don't know what it is, man. They just,
They're so close, though. They're so close. It's like, I think they're like probably the best I've ever seen. Like they're so close. You know, Josh Allen's throw away, him and Gabe Davis. I don't know whose fault that is fairly, but you connect that, you win the game. They have so many plays where their seasons would be so different if they could just make one particular. And I feel like I started again on the whole game. Josh Allen played great. Stephon Diggs played great. Gabe Davis played great. But when it was time in overtime to close it, they could get it done. And it's like, I guess maybe, but what do you change? If you fire Sean McDermott, move on from Diggs? What do you change?
Yeah, it's one of those tough conversations you have to have. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs this year, which is kind of
it's becoming
that way,
yeah,
you got to have some conversations if you're the Bills front office. So
I don't know what they can do that would put them in a better position than they're already in. Like, I feel like this is better. You got Allen playing great. You got Diggs. You got Gabe Davis. James Cook, when he's not fumbling, looks Their defense is pretty good. Maybe Sean McDermott. Who are they going to hire? Like, I don't know what the Bills is, but they got to figure it out.
Yeah, they do, man. They do. Josh Allen, because bro, when he first came in the league, I mean, it took him a while, but once he got it, man, he started rolling. I mean, dude, it was like,
that first
really
year,
good.
like they looked like it was gonna be. It looked like it was gonna be like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and then Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Yeah,
and Josh Allen hasn't held up his end of the bargain. Like, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah, man. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Bills. Like I said, it's 6-6. I mean, still time, but they got to figure it out.
Gotta find a way. They gotta find a way to go 4-1 over their last 5. And if I'm not mistaken, they Kansas City. They got to play the Cowboys, and they got to play the Dolphins. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah. So yeah.
Those are 6-6 team. That's a tall task. Yeah,
it is. It is. So we'll see what they do. But another note I had, man, is the Broncos, dude. After that 70-point beatdown by the Dolphins earlier, dude, they turned it around, man. They've been playing good football. I mean, they've been.
I mean, it ties into the Bills. They own a tiebreaker over them if it comes down to a wild card spot.
Yeah.
If they keep rolling, I mean, they beat Kansas City. They beat the Bills. Realistically, I don't see why they can't make the playoffs. If Russell Wilson keeps balling and they're not turning the ball over, their defense continues to look good with Pat Surtain and everything, I don't know who's stopping them. They're in their own.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Because there's no there's not going to sneak up on them. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't know who's going to stop them. They control their own destiny. Their schedule is pretty favorable down the stretch. So as long as they win, I'll say 3 or 4 of these last 5. I think they should get in, which I think is doable the way Russell Wilson's been playing.
Yeah. And like I said, they're 6-5 right now. Their last 6 games, though, they've only allowed 16.5 points per game compared to, well, their defense just wasn't good earlier in the year, but they've been.
Well, that 70 is going to make it look.
Yeah. So they've been playing good, man. Because right now, dude, you look at the AFC playoff picture, your first 7 seeds, you got the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Jags, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Browns, the Colts, and then you got the Texans and the Broncos kind of in the hunt area.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, I don't know if you heard, but Jonathan Taylor had thumb surgery or is having thumb surgery tomorrow. He's going to be out a couple.
Yeah.
And so that can be big for Colts playoff chances. I mean, he's their best player, their best weapon. When he's on the field, he's see the difference. So that might affect them. Next couple weeks, we'll see.
Yeah. So, hey, man, I wanted to ask you this too. CJ Stroud, dude. Listen, in the offseason, I picked the Texans to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, we haven't got there yet, but I picked them to have more than like 2 wins, like everybody else was saying.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud's been balling out of his mind. What do you think? What have you thought of his play so far this year?
Well, I can say that for sure. I'm guilty of being a part of the everyone else. I didn't think the Texans were going to win more than. And he's definitely surpassed my expectations. 100% the rookie of the year. I know at one point there was conversations, and for a rookie and come in and do that for the organization, regardless of whether or not they make playoffs, they got a bright future, and that's all you can really ask. CJ Stroud is the answer. Him and Tank Dell have a chemistry that looks great. Nico Collins is a good. I think they just experience. So I don't even think it's so much about necessarily the playoffs this year. As young as they are, they're competing. They're going to get a chance to potentially make the playoffs. As long as they play hard, even if it doesn't equal, a playoff berth, this will be a good experience for them.
Yeah, man, they've been playing good. D'Amico Ryans has that team fighting and competing every week, and like you said, once they get older, you get a little bit more experience, dude. They're going to be a fun team to watch. So I'm excited for that. But other big news that broke out, earlier, Frank Reich obviously fired after 11 games in Carolina. So, dude, that organization, man. Like, I know the Falcons have our issues, but dude, the Panthers are a dumpster fire, man. I don't.
And then on that, the pick that will probably be number one next year. Like to trade away. I don't know. Bryce Young, he's in a terrible situation. I don't know what they're gonna do. The coach they hired, he can't come in and turn this around. Like, they need a lot of help. It's not even just the coach. Like, they got to look themselves in the mirror as an organization, top to bottom. Trading away DJ Moore, trading away Christian McCaffrey. There's no weapons for Bryce Young to really use. Adam Thielen's his best weapon, and he's pushing 35. So, like, that can't last forever. Yeah. So, they got a lot to figure out, for sure.
Yeah, man. And it's just not good. I mean, and I played football, dude, from, like, 5 years old to, like, senior year of high school, and one of the things I can say is that continuity is important, whether it's on the coaching staff, whatever, like, it's important. When you're having a new coach every year, that's not
right.
Good for an organization, dude, because your guys can't get acclimated to a standard, a culture, because it's different.
Right.
It changes every year.
Those top teams have a culture,
right.
Like, and that consistency of a culture is what leads to players being successful. And when you're firing a coach, out there's no culture. So, like, what are we leaning on every offseason to, like, get ready for? You know what I mean? Like, those top organizations, regardless, it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever you want to say, it's a culture that's set. And when I think this is the Panthers' like fifth coach in the last 6 or 7 years, what are they banking on to be successful?
Their sixth coach.
Sixth
coach. Like, I don't know, man. I don't. A lot of the fans keep, they're saying it's just rock. Like David Tepper, they want his head, and it's just been crazy ever since Rivera left. I mean,
right?
It's just been a dumpster fire. So I don't know what you do if you're Carolina. There's gonna be a lot of good candidates for him. I mean, who would want the job though?
That's what I'm saying. Coach isn't the answer. Of course, you want to have a good coach, but he's not going to come in and turn it around.
Right. I don't know, man. I just have no idea. Now I will say this: if he decides to leave the Lions, Ben Johnson is a name to watch out for if he wants that job, because he is a great coach. But like I said, I don't know, man. The Panthers just, you're ruining your players when you don't have any continuity.
Right.
So
right, and who's going to want to stay there?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, pretty bad there. But yeah, man. If that was all for the NFL, if you had anything else,
we kind of talked about this earlier. I want to shout out the Cowboys.
You're
in everybody knows Cowboys fans get all delusional. This is our year. We're going to the bowl, and I don't quite reach that level, but I feel like it's something different with them. That defense and Dak, like, it just feels what I told you earlier. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but I genuinely think the Dallas Cowboys will win the championship. I believe it.
The NFC Championship?
It's something's telling me.
The Cowboys. No, man. No. And I told you this earlier. Dude, their defense is lights out. Even with Trayvon Diggs hurt, like Deron Bland has stepped up. You mentioned him. He's been playing great. I got to give him. He's played really good this year. But Dak Prescott,
he's looking
dead. I can't he's doing good when they're playing teams that are like they're playing high school teams, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, if he can do that in the wild card divisional round on the road against Philly or against San Francisco or even Detroit, like, hey, you know what? Then I might quiet up a little bit. But right now, it's Dak Prescott is still the problem.
I feel like these next couple of weeks, they got Seattle and they got Philly. These are opportunities for Dak to go out and show, like, okay, I can do this against legit teams, real defenses. And then come playoff time, like you said, of course, Philly and San Fran and Detroit are those top teams. Philly and San Fran give me pause. Like, year in, year out, they give Dallas problems, especially San Fran.
Right.
But I confidently, like, if Dallas played Detroit, I can confidently say, oh, yeah, they're going to the NFC chip. They're not losing to Detroit. Philly and San Fran, we know how that goes. Maybe. Detroit, I like Dallas. I feel like they're on another level from a team like Detroit this year. That's just, I don't know. It feels different. It feels a little different than it normally has.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, listen, and I told you this earlier too. Like, look, Dak is a great dude, man. He's a great leader, but like, man, when it comes to, like late game and you need him to make those important game winning plays as a quarterback, he can't do it. He can't do it. So, like
that's my pause. That's my pause with the Lions. Why are we so confident that Jared Goff can?
I mean,
I just feel like, except for Philly and San Fran, Dallas with Dak in a situation to compete with anybody. Anybody.
History would prove otherwise, my friend.
I don't know. Only time will tell. I want to see him against Seattle and Philly these next couple of weeks and see how he performs.
Yeah, that's going to be important. Those are going to be important games for sure. So we'll see how they do. But yeah, man, switching gears to college football. We got championship weekend this weekend, man. I'm repping the Alabama Crimson Tide, of course. So, we got, man, Oregon and Washington, Texas, Oklahoma State, Bama and Georgia, of course, Michigan, Iowa, like FSU, Louisville, some of the matchups I've circled there. So what are you thinking about this weekend, man?
I think this is going to be the craziest year that the committee has had to deal with because they're having upsets. Everybody's undefeated. It seems like all the power. There can be 4 conference champions that are undefeated. Boom, that's your 4 teams. Or Bama can come in and upset Georgia. Or you can upset Washington. Now what do we do? And I know a big question I think is, if Bama beats Georgia, can we put them in over Texas because they lost to Texas?
Well, now I know everybody's probably expecting me to give a biased answer, but I will say this. Yes, we lost to Texas, and it was a bad loss. If Alabama beats Georgia convincingly, regardless, we know that an SEC team will be in the playoffs no matter what. We know that regardless.
I don't know.
If Georgia beats Alabama, yes.
If Bama beats Georgia, though, they both might miss.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a loss that if you're Georgia, if you lose to Alabama, then it's like, yeah, it would be a loss to the Bama team that hasn't really looked its best, but it's been on the come up, but still not in the Bama of old. So yeah, if you're the committee, you have to think like, do we keep Georgia in after they lost to this Alabama team?
Right.
What do you think? Do they put Bama in if they beat Georgia?
I think it depends on what happens across the board because whoever wins Washington at work has a guaranteed spot almost.
Yeah.
Michigan, more likely than not, they're going to win. They're going to be undefeated. And if Florida State beats Louisville, that's 3 spots right there. And then it comes down to, I stood by this. This is definitely an unpopular opinion. I don't think Ohio State is worse than any of these teams we're talking about besides Georgia. And I know they lost to Michigan. And on paper, that is their season. But in my opinion, their loss to Michigan is better than all these other teams' losses. Like Bama lost to Texas lost to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Ohio State, we lost by 1 possession to the arguably best team in the country. So if I'm doing my best 4, I put in Ohio State at that 4 slot. But I know that's not going to happen. But that's what I truly believe.
Yeah, that is a bold take. Ohio State. No, I don't think you can slide them in right there, man. But I mean, you have a solid point though.
Because I feel like we can agree Michigan's a top 2 team in the country, right?
Of course.
Ohio State, if Michigan's a top 2 team, there's no way in my mind the way Ohio State just played them, they're not top 4. And I understand how resumes work. Like they shouldn't make it compared to the other teams. I'm just saying the eye test and what I know, I feel like there's not 4 teams in the nation better than Ohio State.
Even
I'll give you Georgia.
Even Bama.
I don't think Bama's better than them. You want to know why I definitely don't believe that? First of all, I know it was early on. Bama lost to Texas. That's first and foremost. Second of all, the totality of the season, if we're being honest, Bama should have lost to Auburn. Like, Bama, throughout the course of the season, they're getting it done, which I can't be mad at. That's what you got to do. A win is a win. They beat Auburn. They lost to Michigan. But when I'm looking at how Bama's getting it done, they don't look like a top 4 team. A top 4 team shouldn't have to convert a 4th and 31 after your quarterback crosses the line and comes back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those type of mistakes. I genuinely don't think they're better than Ohio State. But if they Georgia, it's hard to argue against. But based off what I've seen, no, I don't think they're better than Ohio State.
Yeah, maybe not this year's Bama team. Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't. This year, I genuinely think Ohio State and I think that the Big Ten had 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, and by them playing each other, one of them had to get the short end of the stick.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. Alabama, it's been a rocky year, but hey, man, like they played better recently. They
got a chance. You can't ask for a better opportunity than to have one loss, but play the team that hasn't lost in 2.5 years, and hope you're the team that knocks them off.
Yeah, but if you're the committee, it's like I honestly do believe that even if Bama does beat Georgia, they're not going to put them in.
So then, do you give it last to Georgia, or you give it to Texas? You would give it to Georgia?
Yeah. Hey, come on, man, Georgia. Like, I mean,
probably.
It's
so hard to justify that we watched less than a week ago. Okay, we watched Alabama beat Georgia, and now we're going to sit here and say we think Georgia's a better team. I don't know. That's hard. Because then what's the point of having the SEC championship? We might as well just go ahead and give it to Georgia then.
But then there's a chance that, if Alabama can come in there and knock them off, even if it's like by one score, if realistically they're not going to blow them out. It's going to be a close game. Even if they were to win, it'd probably be like by a touchdown. Or,
right.
I say no more than 2. So even then, that's not a bad loss, is it? Because these games, they're always close. So, I mean, it's even if Bama does beat them, Georgia still has to make it. Unless it depends on how if Texas wins convincingly against Oklahoma State.
See, I feel like it's a disconnect somewhere because it's like if we're all being honest with ourselves, no one would tell you that they think Texas is better than Georgia.
Of course,
but Alabama beat Georgia, Texas beat Alabama, so then by the food chain, Texas at the top. But realistically, nobody believes it. So it's like, do we go with what we believe in our hearts or what we're actually seeing?
It's so hard, man. Like, and I do feel bad for the committee, bro. Because, like, what do you do? I mean,
yeah,
we're going to see how it plays out. Because
I know no offense, Texas, they don't have a shot. For me, Texas, they can win the Big 12 championship by 100. They're not a top 4 team. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. I don't think they are either.
Yeah.
I don't. So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
And do you think Friday night, you think Oregon or Washington's going to pull that game out?
Oh, man. I think, you know what, man? I got upset, man. I got Oregon upsetting them.
I think it's so hard to beat a team twice. And Oregon seems to have been rolling since that loss, and Washington kind of looked a little bit worse. So I think it's just leaning in Oregon's favor.
Yeah. It'll be a close game for sure. It'll be a very competitive game. But I think Oregon can pull it out. At least it's going to be like by a touchdown. It'll be a close game.
I expect it for sure.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
Penix, dude, he's balled out this year. Probably going to win the Heisman. But, like, I think Oregon wins.
This game might get the Heisman based off of it. It's like this is going to be an opportunity for them to showcase to the country what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, for sure. And it sucks, man, too. It's like because before he got hurt, Jordan Travis, man, he was playing really well. And I hate that he's hurt, man, for FSU.
That could cost Florida State their season because watching them play Florida on Saturday, they look shaky, and now they have to go face Louisville for the ACC chip. And with Jordan Travis, I wouldn't really be worried. But now I'm like, they might not even make it to the playoff because they might not come out the ACC. So yeah, that's a big loss for sure.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, man. I already have my picks in. Like I told you, Oregon. I got Texas, Bama, of course, um, Michigan, and FSU.
I'm with you, Georgia over Bama. I can't. Again, the
Hey, man, I can't
totality.
go against my team, man. I can't pick against my team. I can't.
I
Man.
respect that totality of this year. You said yourself, this Bama isn't the Bama of old,
They're not.
and Georgia. So I can't do it. I can't.
Okay. I told you, listen, man, I can't go against my team, man. I can't,
Yeah, that's respect though. Hey, we both repping our. I understand. where you're coming from. I get it.
Right? I mean, dude, you rep the Packers, man. You get it. Like, dude, the Packers could play like the dang Chiefs, and you'll pick them. I mean,
Yeah.
even though you and I both know they wouldn't win, but you still pick them. So yeah, man, that pretty much wraps us up, man. Unless you have anything else you want to add before we kind of close things out here.
No, not really. I'm just to see how it all plays out. I want to see what four teams make it, and I also want to see when they have those four teams. If the fourth one gets blown out by the one, whoever ends up being, that's going to cause an outrage by all those teams that didn't make it. Like, oh, we would, very interesting to see how it all plays out. So, yeah,
dude, it's gonna be crazy. So yeah, you guys out there can catch all these games happening, of course, starting Friday and then throughout Saturday as well. So like, it's gonna be a very fun weekend of football. I know what I'm gonna be doing this weekend. Uh, And we will see what happens after that. But yeah, man, Miles, thanks for coming on, man, talking some ball with us. And make sure you guys check out his show, Boys from the Low, man. Tell them where they can find you at.
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the same. Well, we're gonna have episodes dropping this week too, and yeah, y'all should definitely come check us out.
For sure, man. Yeah, and y'all do that there and check us out here. Of course, same thing: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Also on, Spotify, all that stuff. So check us out there. And Miles, we'll see you next time, man. We'll be talking soon. Okay. Yeah. Good luck to your Packers.
Good luck to the Crimson Tide.
Yes, sir, man. Roll Tide. All right.